Good morning. It's Wednesday, the 26th of April, and did a video earlier this week, and I said I would try to be a little bit better about staying on top of getting these videos in, and that's why I'm sending this out today. I would ask you, though, if you like the videos, would you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and also if you want to be notified when I do one, you can hit the little subscribe button, the little notification button, and it'll send you a little notification when I do a video. Today what's on my mind is a couple of things. First of all, I'm a little perplexed about some of the things going on in our country right now. You know, when I was studying civics as a ninth grader in high school, we learned about the electoral process, the way the government was organized, the three branches of government, and that sort of thing. And that was the foundation of understanding of how our government worked. We never studied the Constitution in depth, but later in life, when I was in undergraduate school and studying political science, obviously we studied the Constitution, and I actually had a class on the Supreme Court that talked how it worked, and this was all before law school. This was just undergraduate stuff, and you know, these kinds of classes laid a foundation for an understanding of what our country was founded to be, what it became, and what it can become. And the reality is that there are some foundational principles that are, as you say in Spanish, muy importante, very important, and you shouldn't deviate from those, okay? And in the Constitution are some amendments. They call it the Bill of Rights. The first 10 amendments to the Constitution lay the foundation for our rights vis-a-vis the government. In other words, the whole premise of the initial founding was to protect people from a government going crazy. Well, in a way, that's where we find ourselves, a government going crazy. For example, why would the government tell me to not have a gas stove? That's nonsense. Totally ridiculous. Absolutely beyond the pale of what the Constitution envisioned. You know, that's not to say that fair, effective regulations of things for the safety of all people are important. But to premise that on climate change is crazy, because in all honesty, we don't know about climate change. You know, we actually don't know the long and short of it. We hear conflicting stories. We just don't know. And obviously you want to default on making the world safer. You know, I remember when climate change was, don't be a litter bug, you know, don't throw your trash out the window. And now it's gotten to a point where it's so much more intrusive that we just don't know what is up with all of that. So when we're looking at a government that's supposed to be prefaced on the Constitution, and we have elected officials blatantly advocating for the violation of people's constitutional rights vis-a-vis the First Amendment to the Constitution, it's disturbing, you know, in a lot of ways. Freedom of press is gone because they're censoring certain forms of communication. Freedom of religion, virtually gone when they're imposing laws that are anti the beliefs of many people, and imposing that on people to the point where it causes people to violate their own beliefs. That was never envisioned within the Constitution. These are things that are going on in the world, and I think these are things that we have to become made aware of. Now, one of the things that's going on is this whole thing. I read this morning that this bank in California, I think it's called Republic Bank, has basically collapsed. I think $100 billion of deposits were withdrawn by depositors, and the stock of the bank has collapsed. And now they're trying to figure out what to do about it. And they're asking other banks to go in and bolster this bank by giving them money to replace the deposits of which were taken by the people from their accounts. I just don't understand why the government needs to do that. I mean, let the bank fail. If the government is on the hook for the federal regulatory deposit insurance, and they should pay it because they bought into that. But that's not something the other banks need to do, because that would hurt the depositors for that bank. It's just very, very weird how right now the government believes that it's their place to be the nanny of everybody, and it shouldn't be that way. There are many, many books out there that tell you how to be in control of your own life, how to maintain self-control. Many of them based on faith, which is where I stand. I believe that you have faith in God and God protects you. Some people don't believe in God. Well, if you don't, then you still can have self-reliance. You don't have to rely on the government. I just don't understand why there's such a passive attitude towards some of the things that are going on right now. On a world scale, just look what's going on around the world. China is getting more powerful. Russia and China have buddied up together. They're trying to cause a collapse of the dollar, which could happen, and that's because our dollar is not backed by anything, and the government keeps printing more dollars, and there's nothing to back it up, and it's only the good faith of the government being willing to pay its debts that allow people to continue to take the dollars in exchange in the world market. I think that one of the things that we can do is, number one, we can promote self-reliance. People need to understand that there is responsibility that comes with rights and benefits. Yes, we have certain rights under the Constitution, but there are certain obligations that come with it. We have an obligation to take care of ourselves, earn a living, take care of our families, take care of those around us through charitable giving and things like that. Yes, we do have to pay our taxes. Nobody would say we don't have to pay taxes. We need roads, we need defense, all that kind of stuff. I think what people get upset with is when we pay taxes and they use it for things that we don't think they should use it for. The fact that we are giving Afghanistan money after leaving the country and leaving them with all that military equipment, and they are our enemies, just boggles my mind. I just don't understand how that kind of stuff can be allowed to happen, especially when it doesn't have to go through Congress and an appropriation. It's just arbitrarily funneled that way by the administration from the Treasury. So anyway, this is a rant. It's a long rant. I hope you understand that I'm a little frustrated with the way the direction that the country's moving in these days. And I had a call from a Republican National Committee this morning asking me for money, and I told them, I said, look, I'm not giving the Republican Party any money until you sort out how you run these elections, because you allowed yourself to get bullied, hoodwinked in the midterms to where you didn't take back the Senate, and you got such a slim majority in the House when you should have had a landslide. And that's because the Republican committee is very little not very much different than the Democratic committee. They both have the deep state in mind, and whatever you believe that or not, that's your choice. I tend to believe that we need some independent thinkers. We need some non-lawyers in Washington. We need business people in Washington. We need to turn our country toward a more solid foundation looking forward to a more business-like approach to government. If you believe me and you like me, hit the thumbs up. If you think something differently, leave a comment. Otherwise, you have a great day. God bless.